Good morning again, everyone. It is Wednesday. Time to have another chat because that's what we do on Wednesday mornings, right? It's one of those things that we just hop in and here we are. Let's talk and let's go over some interesting things about rapid releasing and writing and publishing our books. So today, I wanted to talk really briefly about the number one thing that you have to nail no matter what when it comes to rapid releasing. So, I see that we have at least one guest here so far today. So I'm guessing David, but maybe I'm wrong. So if you're here, let me know that you're here by leaving a comment and then let me know what you think. What do you think the number one thing is that you have to, for sure, without a doubt, nail in order to rapid release your series and have really good reviews and have good sales? Do you have any idea? I am very interested. Hey, David, what do you think it is? I would love to know. And if you've already listened to the podcast, that's cheating. So I don't know what it's looking like where you are, David, but right here it is like, wow, it's pouring down. It's very, very rainy. Hey, Terry, good to see you too. It's good to have two of you here. It's wonderful. So it is like, yeah, like I said, it's pouring. It's kind of nice though because it's getting a breeze through this place. So either one. Okay, so Terry says time. Not quite Terry, but I see where you're going with that. I totally understand it. So David, do you have any ideas? And if you don't answer here in a second, I will let you know. So there is one distinguishing thing that is really the biggest thing that makes or breaks a series, whether it be one that you're rapid releasing or one that you are just putting out there into the world. So even if you're not rapid releasing it, even if you're just doing it in a slower release manner, this number one thing is so important. And it's something that I'm actually finding out a lot about. Well, not a lot about. I've always kind of known it. But you better not be listening to the podcast. That's cheating. But it's something that I guess I'm reminded of because there are different ways to be able to create your story. Drive. Not quite, but similar, I guess, to what Terry was saying. No, actually, what's the most important when it comes to whether or not your series is going to do really well, it's your characters. And it's the reason it's your characters, it's because if your readers can't root for your characters, can't resonate with them, can't be a part of their lives, can't feel like they're human a little bit, they're not going to really care so much about the story anyway. And so it is very important that you have your characters nailed down. And one of the things that I found really interesting, it just is a comparison. So with Pendamis, I did a lot of characterization beforehand. I planned things out very deliberately. I knew with Runa she would have a scar across her face. I knew she would have two different colored eyes, heterochromia. I knew that she would be very naive. And then I knew that on the other side, we had this blue-haired dude who is not naive anymore. He's been out in the world for a while. He knows what humanity is supposed to look like. So they're two very different people. Then I have an Asian girl who's just kind of bitchy. Wasn't a stereotype in any way, shape, or form. It was just I had a friend who was like that, and I modeled her after. Then the other one was Fenton, and he has a fake British accent. And it had nothing to do with Colin because it was actually before I met Colin. So it was kind of funny. So each one of them, I deliberately made sure that they were very distinct and very different. With Oracle, actually, it was character driven. The story itself was very much molded after who I thought this woman would be. And then her characters kind of fell into sync around her. So rather than having the story arc laid out so much, I knew who this woman was first. And same with Pendamis. I knew who these characters were before the story unfolded itself. Now with Windhaven, it's a little bit different because I had a dream. I feel like Martin Luther King. I had a dream. But no, it's something that is so important to pull in sometimes. And I got lost because I was looking at your comments. I'll get back to that in a second. Anyway, it's important to be able to distinguish when you're writing those books, whether it's a plot-driven novel or series or whether it's character-driven. And you can still have a plot-driven series, but you want those characters to still resonate within it. So if you start your series, like I did with Windhaven, with the concept in mind first, sometimes the readers will let you know that you need to do just a little bit more tweaking to the characters to make them more diverse or different, I guess, in a sense. So that's what I'm finding right now with my NetGalley reviews, which is really cool because NetGalley allows you to put your books up. It's a huge site. It's been around for a very long time, and I didn't even realize that indie authors have access to it, but they do, and you can get into it at a discounted rate by using like the Independent Book Publishers Association, because otherwise it's insanely expensive. And most of the reason why I think indies probably don't use it as much. But when you're list aiming, just as a little side note, we are going to be doing some doing a little talk, I think in August, about list aiming, since that's something that I'm doing right now. But for those of you who are on Rapid Release Roadmap and who purchased the beta test, while I have that on hold and I'm working on this list aim, you're going to be getting access to kind of weekly updates as to what I was doing and what I'm doing each week when it comes to the list aim for this rapid release. Just to be able to give you some added value while you're waiting for the series to continue to, or waiting for the course to continue to move on. Anyhow, okay, so David says, I knew that just seeing if you did. Ha, you're funny. I wouldn't have guessed that, but it totally makes sense, says Terry. Yes. So it's one of those things where your readers will let you know. And if you don't know whether or not it's a character-driven novel or a series or a story-driven series, think about what you are most excited about to develop first. And that's going to tell you exactly where everything kind of stems from. That's why I knew with Windhaven, the characters were secondary. And so I had to go in and flesh them out a little bit more with Secret Legacy, because those reviewers on NetGalley were saying, hey, I love the storyline, the plot's really great. I feel like the characters need a little bit more development, though. And I was like, all right then. We're going to have to do a little bit more. And they're different. They all have different powers. They're different. They're vastly different when it comes to races and just kind of how they interact. But I obviously needed to up the ante just a little bit. So that's what I went in and did. And it's really cool with NetGalley and with ARCs in general. When you get that kind of feedback, you're able to make those tweaks and be able to add more depth to your characters so that hopefully it will resonate better once they start reading it. Now, do keep in mind, if you get stuff like that and you have a larger series where you know where they're planning to go, and you have to start them out somewhat, not naive, because like with my characters, they're not naive. Runa was naive in the Pendamis Chronicles, but these characters aren't necessarily naive. They're just newbies. They're new. They don't know quite how their powers are going to unfold. So if you have that larger arc and they are going to develop further, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but they do need to have those distinguishing features, which is actually there are 5 different things to talk about in the podcast today, but the one that I want to mention the most is distinguishing features. So we have things like diversity. You want to make them very diverse characters, whether it be old, young, gay, straight, bi, Black, Asian, like I said, all those different things. You can do all of that, and that's going to make them very diverse. But also shy, introverted, extroverted, all of those different things that make individuals different and come together in a way that I guess maybe one person alone couldn't do. So think about those things and think about the ways that your cast can be diverse. But in order to make them stand out, you need to think about those distinguishing features. What makes them uniquely them? So with Runa, it's that scar and her 2 different colored eyes. With Trayton, it's his blue hair. With Fenton, it was his accent. With Connie, it's kind of her propensity for knives, and she just is bitchy. With Oracle, Diana is old, and she can't be played easily. I mean, she looks like she's young, but she's old, and she's been around the block a long, long time. And so don't mess with her. She'll mess with you. And so I love playing that character and writing for her because she's just so funny. She's one of those characters where it's like, I would love to actually be like that in real life, but I don't think I should. So it's fun to be able to let that loose and just kind of let her run wild. So anyway, that's what I want you to be thinking about when it comes to your characters. If you really want your series to do well, and even if you've released 1 or 2 books, continue to develop them further with each book, because as you get them to grow and you get their unique abilities to change, I mean, you can always change a character and give them a unique feature later on. I mean, look at Thor on the Avengers. He had his eye poked out. You know what I mean? He cut his hair. So all of those things can actually be added in later. It doesn't have to, you don't have to feel like it has to happen in the first book or has to be already available in the first book. It just needs to be able to develop, and you need to have a reason for why it happens. So at any rate, I hope that helps out and makes things a little bit clearer. David says, I will listen to your podcast. I have problems in character development. Well, this will help. I gave you 5 different ways to be able to dive into that a little bit deeper. And I can't remember if you joined Rapid Release Roadmap early, David. I think you did. And if you did, I want you to check out the Scrivener, although I don't think you use Scrivener, do you? Check out the Scrivener template, because there is a huge world building and character template that's in there. So you're able to download it and kind of do all the questions. There are hundreds of questions in there to be able to ask yourself on your world building and your character stuff. So let me know if you have any questions, or hop into any of the Facebook groups, whether it be Rapid Release Roadmap or the online community, and ask questions. I am more than happy to be able to give information. So hopefully that is helpful. All right, guys, I have a packed up day today. I am going to be working on both Soul Legacy and Haunted Legacy. Soul Legacy in edits before it goes to the editor, and Haunted Legacy, I'm in the middle of chapter 17. So I'm finally moving again. It's so nice. It's been a busy, crazy couple of weeks here, so it's been just intense, but it's been good. So hopefully you're able to get some writing in today, and if not, maybe some characterization planning. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. And if you are in Rapid Release Roadmap, join me on Sunday. I will probably be doing Facebook Live, maybe a little bit later than this, though, because I need to do some planning and kind of write out all the things that I did for the week. So mid-morning would be my guess. And then we'll start setting a plan for what time of the day it's going to continue to go. All right. I hope everyone has a great day. Talk to you later. Bye for now.